Hello, I'm Jonasz Rewiński and this is Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, sea and air. We've got you covered. This week began for Ukraine with more Russian attacks. Overnight into Monday, Russian forces launched 251 strike drones at the country. The Ukrainian Air Force reported hits in 11 locations overall. 2 people were wounded in drone strikes on Kryvyi Rih. According to regional authorities, infrastructure was damaged and a fire broke out in the aftermath. In Kherson, an elderly man was wounded while riding a bicycle during a Russian drone attack on a residential district. Russia has also significantly increased attacks on port infrastructure in the Odessa region, already surpassing last year's total in just 3 months. In all of 2025, around 150 attacks were recorded, while now the number has already exceeded 180. In January alone, a series of strikes targeted cargo ships flying flags of San Marino, Panama and the Comoros. These vessels mainly transport grain, oil and other agricultural products. On the other side of the front, in Russia, authorities in the Leningrad region reported a massive Ukrainian drone attack, claiming that over 60 drones were shot down. This was described as the largest aerial attack on the region since the start of the full-scale war. In the port of Primorsk, a fuel storage tank was damaged during the attack, causing a fire. No casualties were reported. Now, Primorsk is one of Russia's largest oil export ports, with a capacity of about 1 million barrels of oil and 300,000 barrels of diesel per day. And it also hosts 2 major oil storage facilities. Now, moving on to the front line. Russian forces continue intense fighting in the Liman area, attempting to advance southward along the Sieversky Donets River from the eastern flank. However, these efforts have not succeeded so far, as Ukrainian forces continue to firmly hold positions near Liman and Vilcha, preventing Russia from building momentum in this direction. Small Russian infantry groups that manage to advance are facing serious logistical difficulties and cannot be reinforced, as supply routes are exposed to fire from both flanks. Moving on now to the Middle East. The Israeli military said early Monday it had launched a large-scale wave of strikes targeting Iranian infrastructure in Tehran. Air raid sirens sounded across parts of northern and central Israel, including Tel Aviv and the West Bank, warning of incoming Iranian missiles. The UAE's Ministry of Defense, meanwhile, said that its air defenses were responding to incoming missile and drone threats, reporting that since the 28th of February, it had intercepted 1,770 drones and 360 missiles. Meanwhile, overnight airstrikes were reported across southern Lebanon, including in Hiyam, Nabatia and Shehabiyeh near Tyre. At least 1 person was killed as a result. These strikes are part of ongoing operations supporting Israeli ground activity near the border. Hezbollah continues to launch rockets at Israeli forces in the area, reporting 63 operations in the past 24 hours, mostly involving rocket fire along with drone and artillery attacks. A Russian Ka-52 attack helicopter was reported destroyed in the Pokrovsk area. According to available information, the helicopter sustained critical damage after being struck by an FPV drone from the 59th Separate Assault Brigade. The strike forced the crew to make an emergency landing, after which the helicopter caught fire and was completely destroyed. A key detail of the operation was the use of a strike drone manufactured by the Ukrainian company General Chereshnya. The employment of relatively inexpensive FPV platforms against high-cost aircraft once again demonstrates the shifting balance of power on the modern battlefield. According to publicly available data, the cost of a Russian Ka-52 Alligator starts at approximately $16 million, making its loss significant in both military and economic terms. Israeli forces blew up a bridge over the Litani River in southern Lebanon, a key transportation link connecting the country's southern regions with other areas. The strike was part of the launch of a ground military operation in the region, and according to preliminary assessments, the destruction of the bridge is intended to restrict the movement of armed groups, complicate the deployment of reinforcements, and disrupt enemy logistics south of the river. And staying in the Middle East, an Israeli civilian captured the moment an Iranian missile struck Israeli soil on camera. The footage shows the target rapidly approaching and a powerful explosion after it breached the air defense systems. The strike was accompanied by a flash and a shockwave that damaged the surrounding infrastructure. A US Navy nuclear-powered submarine launched Tomahawk cruise missiles from Cyprus's territorial waters at targets located in Iran. The launch was part of an expansion of US military operations in the region. Tomahawk cruise missiles are capable of traveling hundreds of kilometers at low altitude, evading air defense systems and ensuring high strike accuracy. Russian Molniya-class drones once again attempted to carry out a combat mission, but their flight was short-lived. Ukrainian interceptors from the Omega Special Operations Center were already in the air. Ukrainian units continue to systematically clear the airspace of enemy reconnaissance and strike UAVs, limiting the enemy's ability to launch attacks and to adjust fire. And that's all on this episode of Military Mind. Next deployment at the same time tomorrow, and in the meantime, please stay with us here on TVP World.